Sai Ram and welcome to Good Morning with Gayatri Mantra. If you welcome the dawn with the Gayatri Mantra, divine grace will dawn on you. And Brother Harishankar, who works with the Sri Satya Sai Central Trust, has experimented with this potent mantra. Brother, you should share your journey with the Gayatri Mantra.
Sairam Bishu and Sairam all viewers. So, Bishu, I was initiated into the Gayatri Mantra by my father at the age of 10 when I was invested with the sacred thread. And I recall at that time we were taught by our parents that the Gayatri Mantra is an effective means to grow intellectually. You can score better marks, you'll be more successful. So, this is how we were taught that if you chant this regularly, these are the benefits you will get. And as time grew, like I passed out of school and then I joined for my engineering in IIT Chennai. And that is when I really discovered Swami. And I started coming to Prasanthi Nilayam very regularly. Every break that I got from college, I used to land up at Prasanthi Nilayam. But to my disappointment, every single time, in darshan, even if I had got the front line, Swami would not even come close to me. So in my heart that yearning was there that Swami, I want to touch your feet. I want to have the benefit of your sambhashan. None of this was happening.
And especially if you are seeing youngsters like you sitting just a few meters away and getting all the chances.
Yes, that used to amplify, that feeling of yearning. And I began thinking, what should I do? So I used to pray earnestly, before every break, before coming, I would try my very best to think, Swami, please, guide me as to how I should get close to you. And it came to, such a crescendo at one day, I really began despairing that I may never get this chance. Of ever getting close to Swami, of ever taking his Pad Namaskar.
Like because you had prayed so much and nothing was happening.
Nothing was happening. So then that day I remember I cried myself to sleep. And that night I got a dream. And in this dream, it was very vivid and I recall that this was the Prasanthi Nilayam of the old. I remember the coconut trees and
the arch days.
The arches, yes. So I was strangely enough seated among old women. I do not know why. There was a group of old women and that is exactly where I was seated. And Swami again during darshan, even in the dream, as he passed by, he did not look at me. And I was so desperate in the dream, I called out. I said, Swami. And then he turned towards me. I said, why don't you speak to me? And Swami looked very sternly into me, into my eyes, and he said, you have no strength.
You have no strength.
Yes, he said those words, you have no strength. And I was wondering even in the dream, what does he mean strength? And then I realized that, I have the answer in front of me. So I asked Swami, how do I grow that strength so that I can get close to you?
What is that strength that I don't have?
Yes.
And how to get that strength?
How to get that strength? So then Swami said, you should chant the Gayatri Mantra every day.
Wow.
And immediately it occurred to me to ask Swami how many times a day. So Swami said you should chant 108 times in a day.
Very clear.
Very clearly. So that was it, So I decided that if this was the sadhana that was required, I will do it.
Wow.
And I started. And very soon, even as I started chanting like this, I got a chance to join the Hyderabad youth. And that was when I got my first Pad Namaskar with Swami. Swami created
So things started unfolding after this.
Just right after that, one after the other. I could see it was as if, the gateways of heaven were slowly opening. I got so many chances to come to Swami to serve over here, get Pad Namaskar, etc. And this, all of it suddenly opened up. Finally, I even got the chance to join here in Bhagwan's University as a student.
Yes. Wow.
And that was when, Swami showered his grace all the more. Swami would call me, my parents.
It was really life transforming for you. I mean.
Yes, definitely. You could see the change in so many different ways. One of the things I discovered, I didn't want my mind at any time to go astray because the thing was that I was so keen I should come close to Swami's fold. And I didn't want my mind to divert me in such a way that I go away from Swami.
So Gayatri Mantra helped in that process.
The greatest test really, Bishu, was in my final year for my engineering project, I was sent to Germany. Very far away from parents and from any, the environment which usually would keep my mind in, on the straight path. And there it was that, you know, I started regularly every day making sure with full concentration that I was chanting the Gayatri mantra, because these were the months that were leading up to my joining Bhagwan's.
Yes.
This is very critical for me, that at that moment
Maintaining
I should not
the
lose.
levels of purity inside.
Absolutely, that I should not lose, you know, Swami's trust on me, his grace. So for that reason, I know for sure that it was a mantra that helped me.
Wow.
Then I joined as a Swami student, and as I was telling you, there was that nice honeymoon period where Swami was speaking to me, and
Yes.
all that was going on, and suddenly it broke off. There was a hiatus,
Oh.
and I began wondering,
Suddenly it stopped. It always happens.
now what should I do? You know, I began getting really desperate. That
So after that, you did not chant. Like you got the seat, you became a student, and you are getting the chances. You are very happy.
it was, yeah, there was definitely, I'll have to confess that, you know, I kind of slackened a little bit. I was like, I've gotten where I had to.
Yeah.
So that intensity had definitely reduced, and then Swami, you know, decided to turn on the heat. And so one day suddenly I decided that, you know, this day I will sit in the mandir, not talk to anyone, not look at anybody, and I'll close my eyes and make every single time I chant the Gayatri count. You know, sometimes what happens,
Yes.
it's 108,
Yeah.
your mind can, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
divert. in
Sometimes
between.
you do it mechanically.
Very mechanically. But this time I decided I'll make each one count
Wow.
in such a way that at the end of it, when I chant the 108th time, I want Swami to stand in front of me and talk to me. So that was the determination I had.
Wow.
And I recall I was chanting with complete concentration, and it was the 105th time when I was chanting, I could hear the doors of the interview room open. And still I had decided that I will not open my eyes.
Oh.
So I decided I'll open my eyes only when I complete 108th time. So as, you know, Swami kept, he came across the portico and then turned towards the area where we were sitting. And at that moment, that was when I completed my 108th time chanting. And I opened my eyes, and there Swami was standing, he was looking at me. He called me, he said, "What is your name?"
Whoa.
I was so thrilled, like I had found a way, you know, the straight path to Swami. You know,
Wow.
whenever you need access, I decided
Yes.
that this was the way. Just
I
chant
mean,
with.
how your life can open up, how divine benediction can just shower on you.
Because this is the power of a mantra. Just
Power.
imagine
That is the strength.
eons ago,
Yes.
that in environs like this, the sage Vishwamitra has sat and for the benefit of mankind, he was able to see this mantra.
Correct.
And he has passed it on to all of us, and it is a very generous gift that he has given, you know. He has very easy access to Swami,
Yes.
as I discovered.
Wow.
One last, you know, I would like to talk about this one particular experience. See, when you chant the Gayatri mantra, there are the lines Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi and Dhiyo Yonah Prachodayat. That, so when I used to chant, I used to always remember the meanings of those lines. So there used to be a lot of emotion involved even while chanting. So when you say Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi, it is that I meditate on your luster, on your lustrous countenance.
The Tejas. Yes.
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 And when I used to chant this, I used to imagine, you know, Swami's face, and that I'm looking at that. So this was the period, you know, just when I had completed my studies in the year 2000, and as you know, it's a very insecure time. You don't know if Bhagwan is going to retain you by allowing you to, you know, do seva at the ashram, or he will say, you know, you should go out and work. So it was a very insecure time, and I was, that evening I remember I was chanting the Gayatri during the darshan as Swami came, and this was in the Sai Ramesh hall in Brindavan. So as Swami started walking, he is coming in front of me, and you know, there was so much anguish in my heart as I was chanting the Gayatri. And as he passed, just then, you know, as I was chanting in my mind the words Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi, at that moment he turned and looked into my eyes. And can you imagine that all the time I had always mentally imagined Swami's face as I chanted, and at that moment he, the, you know, embodiment of the worship, he was standing in front of me and looking into my eyes. And I chanted Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi and Dhiyo Yonah Prachodayat. Give me,
Filled with the effulgence of His grace.
yes, of your intellect, of that intellect that shines.
Yes. Wow. Amazing. I mean, your whole life has been so beautiful in a sense that, you know, your father initiated you, and then Bhagwan as the Divine Father put you on the path.
Yes, definitely. Yes, that.
And now you have a potent mantra with you. Anytime you need the strength of the divine, you need the grace of the divine.
Yes.
Anytime you are in a dilemma, you are in depression, all you have to do is just focus, as you said, not chant it mechanically. Focus and give your all to it and chant, and doors will open up.
And I'm convinced this is not just for me. Like
Yes.
it is true of any person of any age
Yes.
and any gender.
Absolutely.
That this is a mantra that is universal.
Absolutely. Wonderful. Fantastic. I mean, it is so heartening to listen to Brother Harishankar having experienced the power of the Gayatri Mantra straight from the divine, in the divine physical presence. And dear brothers and sisters, this birthday, when we all gather in Prashanti Nilayam, or when we connect to Prashanti Nilayam wherever we are, when the spiritual conference is going on and when there is so much deliberation about the Gayatri Mantra, it is a time for us to reflect and make this Gayatri Mantra a part of our lives. Let's build that power which can draw the grace of the divine to us. Thank you so much. Sai Ram.
Sai Ram.
भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यम् भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यम् भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यम् भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ